Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to American Lunchbox Podcast. As we begin to give you what you need, we're understanding that anything can happen during these times. But we're glad that you have made it back. And for all of you all who are listening for the first time, we want to say thank you for coming. And we want to offer our invitation to come back. We are a full, hospitality.
Yeah.
We're here to serve you, right?
Yeah.
And like we always say, you will not be disappointed, Christopher. So, on behalf of Christopher and I, the American Lunchbox Podcast, hit the subscribe button, please. And if you love the show, and I know you will, hit the like button. That will help too. And for those of you all who are coming back, obviously, thank you so much for your support. If you're tapping in on iHeart and Pandora and YouTube or iHeartRadio or iTunes, any of those platforms, please hit the subscribe button, download, and again, thank you for your support from Christopher and Battle. We love you, and let's get down to business, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Chris. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good.
Good, man. A lot of things going on, and we want to jump right into it. We got a great show. I just want to just first say that there are some simple acknowledgments that we have to make because of where we are.
Oh.
Yeah. So, just brace yourself. I'm going to ramble off a bit here.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Thanking all the people in the Academy, or?
As a matter of fact, Golden Globe, Academy, and Emmys.
Wow.
It's almost that season, and I don't know who's going to actually show up for these shows, if anyone this year. And I don't know what movies they're going to actually preview. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some news, unfortunately, on the COVID front. This past week, the president had to come out, and vice president, and say that unfortunately we've reached a very, very sad landmark in regards to the amount of deaths for the country. We're up at 500,000 now, and that is a sad report for the American people and the world, because we are definitely linked by this human experience. So we want to obviously be very serious about that, and knowing that even though we're in a fight to get back to normality, there are still people who are suffering.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has hit home. Now, I mean, when we had to start this show, we started it because of the COVID.
The other thing is that there's a lot of ways in which the medical system is stretched thin because of COVID. I was just talking to a lady at the post office who was telling me about her husband who's survived COVID, but now is stuck with inadequate care at the hospital because of bed sores. Which should be treated better, but everyone's so stretched thin and overworked.
Now, you would think something as simple as just rotating. That's all, from what I understand. And listen, I'm not a medical profession. My mother, God bless her, was a nurse for 30 years, and she retired from doing that. And from what I understand, all you have to do is just move the body to prevent just bed sores.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is. I might have to write another letter to Biden about this situation, because another friend who's...
Wait a second. The letter. Did the letter make it?
Well, I got a tracking number, so I'm going to provide updates as that happens.
Okay.
If you could post that letter on our Facebook, we could show everyone.
Absolutely. Going up today.
We'll post we'll post that letter.
Okay. So look forward to it. Go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah. So, but might be worth me writing a second letter to the president, because so I didn't realize what schedules doctors work. So I have a friend who's pregnant, and she's getting a reduced schedule of 10 hours a day. Now, that's a reduced schedule. Now, for me, after I work, there's times where I work long shifts. I work 24 hours in a row. After 10 hours, my work starts to fail. Or it's just I need to do something monotonous and not thoughtful, because I need to be locked in. That's like coffee and just do the same thing over and over type of work. But I'm not making good decisions after hour 10. And after hour 20, I'm really effed up, where your hands start shaking. So, I mean, we have a situation in which, I don't know, is there even any rules where a doctor who's doing surgery on you in this country has to rest before doing so? I mean, would you want someone to do surgery on you whose hands are shaking?
No. And to make matters worse, there are a lot of other professions. Let's say truck drivers. They are mandatory. They have to stop, get rest. There are jobs out there that are are important, and shout out to our truck drivers.
Yeah.
They run our country, but there are jobs out there that mandatory rest has to be documented. But when we think about the medical business,
Yeah.
none of that stuff, all that stuff is out the door.
Part of it is just break me out a world's smallest violin. You're getting paid a doctor's salary, but I don't know. I've come around on this ideology to the point of, I want, for the sake of the other people involved, like I want actual care to happen. And when the doctor's in such a rush, you're not getting proper care. The doctor's taking what you're saying in one ear and out the other, and you might have been the 100th person they talked to today about something random. I mean,
right?
You can understand why some doctors don't have good bedside manner.
That's right. That's right, because they're on the clock and they're going to maximize their time. 3 minutes in, 3 minutes out. You may spend an hour with a nurse, and a doctor will come in for 5 minutes.
I wonder if you're a stutterer and you have to talk to the doctor. They must be ready to kill you.
How would that sound?
I'm not gonna
go ahead. Show us. So, Chris, you brought this. Show us how that would sound.
Pneumonia. Stop. I wasn't trying to make a joke out of it.
Oh man! Shout out to all of my stuttering brothers and sisters out there.
Sorry,
you just became the butt of a joke on American Lunchbox podcast.
That wasn't my idea.
That was him, by the way. But also, too, on another note, I mean, we also, in regards to what's going on in the world / the country, what the fuck happened in Houston? Can you explain this? I mean, I know you all had to have heard what is going on in Houston, but
about the Astros cheating with those garbage cans, or
okay, aside from the Astros shooting with the garbage cans, I'm talking about Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened with?
It's crazy because they survived that flooding situation. Now it's like another natural disasters happened there.
And on top of it being a national disaster, it's headline news because of how the help, of course, is coming. It's like they were not able to get any water for 4 days. They were boiling snow to get water.
Snow is delicious by itself.
Okay, now
not in New York. It was
I'm about to say,
yellow or brown.
Would that be on the curves of New York? Would that be on the curves of Queens?
Don't. Are
you talking about the snow up in Big Bear here? I
have a memory of when snow. Sorry to go off on a tangent so early in the conversation.
Here we go. You take it over.
I have a memory of playing inside of a igloo that was made by a dump truck pushing a pile of snow and someone carving out the snow. But this igloo happened to have all these stuff from
syringes,
the street. Yeah, so like I remember being in the igloo and looking up and seeing like a cat turd sticking out of the ceiling of my igloo.
Unused condoms. I said unused, by the way. That's Queens. That's Queens snow play.
But no, this is real. Like
this is This is serious, and our heart obviously goes out. But there is a political spin to this because, even though we're not going to go into this today, we know that the Democrats have decided to make this about global warming.
And the Republicans made it about that, that Texas was going more green. They also had a power grid that was not connected to either the Eastern or Western power grid, major power grids. There's a lot of finger pointing to be had.
A lot of finger pointing.
Obviously, Ted Cruz didn't do himself any favors by skipping
and Ted
town.
Cruz, get a razor. I'm not liking that beard.
Yeah, but
on
you
Ted.
don't have to see the beard, then you have to see his face.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. But still, that looks a mess.
That bird flew south for the winter.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my beard. You don't get me wrong. But he's making beardless brothers look bad. Come on, Ted. It's
he also got caught in like lie after lie, which is. Look, good advice, just on a side note. When I was young, I would do things that were like, oh my God, no one's ever done something so weird before. Like, did you really think of some creative situation? But if you only fuck up for the first time ever, even if it's a major fuck up, you could stick your hands up in the air and say, I am sorry.
That's right.
Meaning, yes, I drew all over the walls. I don't know why I did it. I'm sorry, and that specific act will not happen again.
Hands up.
But my cousin will stay out late, and then there's don't stay out late. Now, that's a common teenager sort of thing, right?
That's right.
So you did something that everyone else is doing, and people talk about how to punish.
Right.
Then you do it and say, don't do it again or you're punished, and then you did it again. So the person who does the more random and extreme behavior gets actually less punishment at the end of the day than the person who And so we've had a string of politicians that have done this, and people already don't like Ted Cruz.
I wonder why.
And now he got caught lying
Again.
about it. So so basically he got caught in a situation where he shouldn't have done it in the first place. Plus, everyone has been getting in trouble for doing stuff like this, eating while you're banning other people from eating for COVID. Those little do as I say, not as I do things.
That's right. Hey, and remember,
Yeah.
Obama told you not to smoke.
He got caught.
But he got caught smoking cigarettes all the time.
Yeah. And Ted Cruz got caught in every little lie, except he got away with the big one. You know that he's the Zodiac killer? Remember that?
I don't remember him admitting to be the Zodiac killer here.
That's why he got away with it.
Important case. Houston is in the news, ladies and gentlemen, and we are just crumbing all over it. But listen, the reality is that our hearts goes out to the American people who are suffering over there. They're coming out of it. This is actually, we're kind of late with this, but we are talking about it because it deserves a moment of our time, as podcasters and talking about current events. But
we're just trying to make, some jokes to make you laugh, but no,
right.
it's sorry you're dealing with that. It's terrible.
It's terrible. So to all our Houston brothers and sisters out there, our hearts go out to you, out to your cause, and we're hoping that you get obviously the services and the care that you guys need. And as you come out, you can always move back to Los Angeles, because I know about 1.5 million of you all left Los Angeles because of earthquakes or whatever and moved to Houston. So come on back. It's okay.
Part of it too is that Texas is kind of part of why there's a political fight over this, is that Texas, which was once deeply Republican, is now becoming somewhat of a swing state potentially, because a couple things. You got a large percentage of people crossing that border who some of them are now voting, different clashing of communities or cultures maybe, but really another big part of it is that people from LA who are escaping the bad policies are taking their opinions with them when they resettle on places that have more freedom, but because there's less structure. So those people who still want structure are happy to move to Texas for the nice taxes, but they also want to bring with them their policies, which will drive up everyone's taxes. So some of these places like Colorado, Idaho, and Texas, in which LA airs and San Francisco and nights are escaping to, are now, some of them are being met with people who are like, yo, you're here for a reason. You better start voting to maintain the reason you came here. So there's a whole little beef going on.
That's right. And on top of that, as you know, property value here in Los Angeles, you sell a home here.
Yeah.
And you can buy a whole ranch in Texas with horses, stables.
Yeah.
Even some help.
Now, even with this news, like if I had $100,000 to spend in here or New York, I mean, I'd still go there.
Still go there.
Because you get to get square footage.
That's exactly. You get more for your buck, if you will. But our hearts go out. We wish you guys the best. Breaking news, though, ladies and gentlemen. Sit down. Breaking news. As we are preparing for this podcast, breaking news came over the wire. Thank you for the wire, by the way. # the wire. Thank you for that. We just found out Tiger Woods has been involved in a car accident that has now been actually recorded, televised. He's actually flipped over into a ravine, and he is in surgery now. Seems like he's having some leg surgery. We're hoping, of course, that he comes out of it, but we know already, based on past injuries, that he has some back issues for a lot, and he was just getting, and if you go to my Facebook page personally, you would see that I've been following him and his son's journey and how they've been working together. His Charlie Woods is his son's name, and they have now teamed up as a duo, and they've been doing magical things on the golf course.
How old's his son?
9. 9. I think he's either 9 or 10 years old now.
He's been training him since the moment he could.
Well, that's what his father did to him.
Yeah.
His father did out of the womb.
It's intense.
Out of the womb.
And the ultimate sports dad.
Yeah. And so what we're finding out, breaking news, is that again, Tiger was involved in a car accident in Los Angeles. We don't know exactly. And we know he's in surgery, but we're hoping the best.
Well, it's like a year ago that the Kobe thing happened in LA in February, I believe. And
That's right.
like a major national story about a sports figure.
Yeah.
Right here in our backyard.
Right here in our backyard.
And a negative story as well.
Yeah.
Terrible story.
Terrible story. But we're glad we're not reporting another death, but we're going to keep our eye on this.
Yeah.
And as we do that, we're going to report back. I figure things are going to get even more crazy as we start to open up here in Los Angeles. We're opening up the economy. We've seen some great things. Chris, how was your week here in Venice, by the way? Did anything crazy happen?
I went to go do some outdoor dining. Was accosted by
wait,
local
okay,
hold
on. I said, Chris, in Venice, how was your week this week? And you said what again?
I was almost attacked physically, but kind of weirdly, goofily assaulted.
Okay. You have to elaborate on this situation.
Okay, I
wasn't ready for this one, ladies and gentlemen.
I made a physical prop.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I was feet from my destination.
The hell?
And I see a homeless guy walking up to me that looked like something out of It Follows, the movie where the ghost just chases you on a beeline.
Were you alone?
Yeah, I was alone. Now, I'm not afraid. I mean, I could handle myself, but he was fixated on me. He was walking directly towards me, looking me right in the eyes. So what I did was, usually when those people are like fixated, I figured diffuse the situation. I hooked around a tree, meaning if this tree gets in the middle of us, now your line of sight is broken and your path is broken. So typically those people just schizo off until the next thing they focus on. But no, he didn't do it. He came around the tree and got in my face. I didn't know if it was violent or he had something in his hand which he looked like he was going to attack me with. And when he got in my face, I've taken my Dove bar here and wrapped it in green to represent Irish Spring. He had a pristine box of Irish Spring, and he threw it in my face, and he said,
"What?"
Now keep in mind, it looked like he never used it. Like if someone needed it, it wasn't me.
I was like, was he trying to send you a message?
What I did was, I stuck my hand up in a defensive position, but also in like a karate chop. Could be sprung at any moment.
Because he's in your face right now, right? And now, how tall is this guy? Give us a description.
He's about 5'10", probably about 210 pounds.
Was he black, white, Jew, Gentile?
Well, he's that like white homeless thing where you look kind of brown because there's a lot of sun and not a lot of washing going on.
Okay.
No offense to anyone who has that complexion naturally, but this wasn't a natural complexion. And he's got the crazy swirled out hair.
Let me ask you one more thing. Were you afraid?
Nah, well, I didn't want...
Did it look like he could take you?
No. I was more afraid of the fact that he was breathing right in my face. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, now I got COVID. If he had it, I have it. It's just so close, like
wow.
The droplets were like right in my face.
Oh shit!
And so then I look ahead. There's 3 cops, 20 feet from there. I said, oh, that's great.
LAPD?
He walked from their direction to me. All 3 of them were interviewing the last guy he accosted, ran up on with the soap. And then I said to the lady, I'm thinking one of them could have done an offensive lineman drill on this guy for the time being. She goes, yeah, we're dealing with it. I said, not yet, though. Obviously. You let him walk up to the next guy, me, and do the same shit. So then I sat down, and they actually did arrest him. And as he was getting cuffed, he was doing... Now, keep in mind, it could have been completely harmless. Like, he could have been like... I have the secret to the universe, and I like to share it with you.
That's probably what he was saying in this.
Yeah, like you need to hear this. Or, Chris, remember the dermatologist told you no more Irish Spring because of that issue. Could have been that one.
We know what that issue was. If you go back to episode whatever, yeah.
The one where I was wearing the orange shirt.
Yeah, the one where
because I couldn't wear anything else.
Yeah. Use vitamin D to help him to heal himself.
So that was it. It just I just never been assaulted but a bar of Irish Spring before.
That is another crazy Venice story, and it's the truth. That is wild. And okay, so they take them off. May I ask what you have for lunch that day or dinner? What were you eating?
I was on my way to eat.
Oh, you're on your way to eat.
And I feel bad because it was a national chain, even though it's, I should be. I did go local multiple times that week, but in this case, I took a trip to a certain place that has Mexican food. That's it's a national chain. I feel a little guilty about that.
A little Chihuahua, maybe. Yeah. All right. Well, listen. We forgive you. We forgive you. We forgive you. My week was interesting. Of course, I'm out here doing my thing and servicing these businesses, what we do. And the weirdest thing happened. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but it definitely deserves an interesting conversation. And we're going to have it here. I'm sitting in the office, and we have a mixed group of people in the office. Okay, so there are Black people, Jewish people, white people, Latino people. We have a great mix of people. We've hired great people, and it's really a good feel. The culture is good. So as we are wrapping it up, we usually play music.
Okay.
You can imagine in an office setting, right? There are several different offices, and it only takes one office to play music, and you can hear it throughout the entire office. So it doesn't necessarily need to be like super loud, but it's one of those kind of things. So if you play it loud enough, you're entertaining the entire group. Fair enough? Right. Okay. So I'm sitting. I so happen because I'm in the office with one of my partners, and we're listening to a song, and that song goes off, and it was so reminiscent of a past time. And so he asks me, what should we play next? And I say, because it was in that same genre of music, I said, let's play the Isley Brothers. Okay. The Isley Brothers. Okay. Shout out to the Isley Brothers. And at that point, I'm thinking we're going down another lane. Now, what I did not expect is for him to choose a song that included R. Kelly. Now, I don't know if you all have been following the R. Kelly story. Most of you all, if you haven't, R. Kelly was one of the ones who were...
it's kind of coming out slowly like a drip, drip, drip.
Drip, drip, drip. Drip, drip, drip. Really?
Sorry.
This guy, R. Kelly was the one who actually has some videos out there with young girls doing crazy things, and he decided he was going to be doing some real audacious things with, instead of women of his age, he did it with, underage girls. And he's now in prison. So a lot of the community that listened to his music has decided to kind of boycott it. And this was the first time, I think, in like 3 or 4 years that I actually heard an R. Kelly song, or R. Kelly produced song for that matter. And I was shocked. And I said to him, are you really going to play the molesters music? I said it out loud, right? And I didn't say it in a way that I thought that he was going to be upset or stop playing the music. I said it in a funny way. And his response was, hell yeah. I like this song, which made me go down this road about, wait, how am I going to participate in this? It wasn't a peer pressure situation, but it was definitely a point in my mental. Now, it was a duet, thank God. It was a duet. It wasn't just him. It was Ron Isley and him. So it was one of those duets. So there were some relief. So Chris, have you ever dealt with the fact that you wanted to deal with an artist that maybe or may not have a reputation of doing something horrendous? Has that ever happened to you? I don't know if you listen to R. Kelly or not.
My short answer is no. But were you the only one offended?
Probably. There was only it's like 4 of us in the office, and I probably was the only one.
Or were you the only one? Or were you the only one who spoke up?
I wasn't offended. I wasn't offended. Let's say that for the record. I thought I was joking. I wasn't. But I was just amazed that I was in the room right now in this situation.
Here's the thing. R. Kelly is a tricky one because he's singing about sexual things.
Right.
That to me is different than Michael Jackson, who's talking about in his music the hot. He's talking about pretty girls when in reality his life was not about chasing pretty girls.
Are we gonna go? Wait,
But with that being said, I mean that's why I think he's trickier. But
I'm gonna drink to that.
In my opinion, you got to separate the art from the artist.
Wait a second. Hold on. The art from the artist.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I'm hearing you right.
You know, my plan every week is to, like, as long as I could get through this episode without saying something that's embarrassing on the internet, then I'm good. But I fail almost every week. So here we go.
Here it is. Here it is. So you're telling me that the art is separate from the artist, even though the artist created the art?
Yes.
So who owns it, by the way?
Well, some shady record company.
Right. Who owns the rights to be able to sing it? The artist.
In Michael Jackson's case, he owns
R. Kelly's in the same situation.
Right.
He owns the right to sing it. He wrote the song.
Okay.
Right? So therefore ownership lies
that song's
on him.
already recorded. You don't have to go to his concert, but you don't want to throw away what was already done if it's good, if it's valid in some artistic merit in some way.
Okay. So this particular person has documented evidence of being involved with an underage girl. And every time I listen to the music, it reminds me of his behavior.
That's because he's doing love songs. That's because he's doing love songs. If he was directing Pixar movies, you might feel differently.
I don't think so. I think that there are people out there, even if it's a Pixar movie, Pixar movie, I think that there are people out there who take a stand and who they're going to patronize or who they're going to support.
Slippery slope.
It's not a slippery slope. If you created it, if you're a part of it, then therefore, if I go and pay money, I'm paying you.
This is not against. This is not against the person who made WALL-E. I don't know who that is, but let's just take the example of a Pixar movie. Let's say theoretically that someone who worked on WALL-E, it came out that something bad happened. Well, WALL-E is a good movie. Like, it touched a lot of people. Poor choice of words.
Of all the movies, he chooses WALL-E.
I'm saying I like WALL-E. If it came out later that someone was sketchy in WALL-E, I'm gonna watch WALL-E again. So it has no bearing on me.
Okay, it has no bearing
because
on you.
because me consuming that art does something better for me, and for probably a lot of people than knowing the behind the scenes details, which were not publicized in the production, which don't bleed onto the in R. Kelly's case, that bleeds onto the art. In the case of Michael Jackson and others, it doesn't bleed onto the art. Michael Jackson said, "Little boys, they're just my thing." Dun, 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 dun. He never said that in the art. He was talking about Billie Jean, made up lady, obviously, I guess at this point.
And be mindful, Michael was acquitted. He was acquitted.
Right.
Okay, so we're talking about an innocent dead man.
I guess he was too legit to acquit, but
that's
in
MC,
reality,
that's MC Hammer. That's
right,
MC Hammer.
Okay, so you're doing a dissonance thing where you're saying, well, I really want to listen to the music, so I'm happy he's innocent. When in reality, he did the shit and the music's good. Okay, that's the fucking conflict.
No, he did not. You cannot. You cannot prove that he did it. He said he didn't did it. He said he didn't do it. Michael Jackson did not rape little boys. He was not participating in the actions that he was being accused of. Okay,
and you're saying that as a fan of the music. You're not saying that.
Listen,
if that was Weinstein,
we're going to keep going on this. Hold on, we're going to keep going on this. We'll be right back because this is going to get deep.
Poor choice of words. If Michael Jackson was Harvey Weinstein, you wouldn't be making excuses. But because Michael Jackson's music is so good, and because you're a moral person, you know you can't go without listening to that Michael Jackson music. And therefore, you're hoping that what he did is not true.
Good Will Hunting. Scary movie. Weinstein movies.
Okay. But Weinstein's not an artist. That's a producer.
But what he's doing is he's putting his name on. He's investing his time and energy. And
someone's taking the name off of it.
So, when you look at
you're punishing all the artistic people who worked on that project because of one person.
And you're right.
Art is also sometimes collaborative.
And you're absolutely right. When Jay-Z decided to do an album with R. Kelly, he didn't know what he was getting himself into. It was a collaboration.
Right.
He didn't know, but he didn't know he was going to have to squash an entire 24-track record with R. Kelly because of this particular
All right,
thing.
you know what? I'm gonna stick up for. I'm gonna stick up for R. Kelly on something.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, I got to drink to this one.
Listen, go listen to talking about Jay-Z. Go listen to a Beyonce song. Go listen to any modern pop. It's not based on emotion anymore. It's based on ego. I could be with you, but maybe I won't. The fuck is this maybe shit? Seriously.
Was that a Beyonce?
I don't know.
What's that? What the hell was that? Was that B?
Ladies
and gentlemen, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this on the if you're listening to this podcast, you got to jump over to the YouTube station to see the last thing that just happened with this guy acting as if he was Beyonce, waving his head, churning his body. What the hell is this? You're not B.
Closer to Aretha Franklin size than Beyonce size, but
God rest her soul.
yeah. But Aretha Franklin and R. Kelly made songs that were passionate, and unfortunately, right now in the music business, we have a lack of passion because people are talking about their ego and ego protection.
But this is not about.
Remember what Whitney Houston said? She said, "I will always love you," and when she said that, she said it as that. I know this is bad for me. I know I'm doing damage to my own personal ego by saying this, but I can't help it. I love you. I still have that passion.
This argument is not about eras of music. We're talking about an era of music. That music was about a time.
We're saying throw away good art
yes.
so that only people who haven't been convicted of something are there, and maybe they just produce shitty art. So, I mean, what does it matter? What does it matter if an artist is a scumbag? If the art is good, the art reveals something deeper about the human experience. You want something that's just homogenized and corporately acceptable and generic? Or you want something that speaks to some level of truth, that regardless of who made it, it touches the human experience in some way. That's why even techno music, the singers aren't all the A-list singers, but at least they say, every day, I just want to be with you.
Okay.
At least they're saying something that's fucking passionate.
Okay, let me explain to you something, young man. Because obviously, you are missing the whole point of this conversation. The point is...
You're throwing away art because
no,
you're
that's
throwing
not the
away
point.
the artist.
It's not the point.
You don't have to go to their concert to acknowledge that they made something good.
I'm talking about patronizing someone. I'm talking about lacing someone else's pocket. No, I'm talking patronizing as far as supporting.
Right, but who's even doing that? This stuff is all for free on YouTube. You can't pull up an R. Kelly song for free. It doesn't cost you nothing.
Hold on for a second, young man. What I was saying is that if you're going to go out here and decide that you're going to think it's okay to play something or do something, which is your choice, with a person that now, when you listen to it, what you don't realize when you play it, what you don't realize when you eat it, what you don't realize is that you are agreeing to whatever that person did.
No, you're not. No,
yes,
you're
you
not.
are. Let me tell you how. I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to prove it to you. Whenever you decide to go to a church, right, you're basing that idea on what you're going to be, your environment you're going to be in. You're basing it on the message that you're going to receive. Hold on, let me finish. You're basing it on the message that you're going to receive from the pulpit, the choir, and the audience that you're surrounded by. So let me explain to you what could happen. If that preacher who's delivering the message turns out to be a scumbag, turns out to be a person who is not doing good things, that person's message has now been tainted. Hold on, let me finish. That person's message has now been tainted. Therefore, that person who's listening to it has to make a decision. Do I want a message from this person who has been offering me salvation? Okay, now let's put that into perspective of art. I'm not going to go buy a painting from Roman Polanski. I'm not going to do it. And as a matter of fact, I know that the value of that painting is shit because of what he did.
Okay, but
Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Hit me in the comments if I'm on the right track here. What someone gives is what you receive.
Okay, well, let's talk about what they give and what they're receiving.
Ears, eyes, nose, any of your senses. I don't want to deal with Wolfgang Puck if he's been sleeping with his daughter.
Well, let's talk about preachers. Let's talk about preachers and preaching, okay? And let's talk about this. George, you know that Bill Cosby raised a lot of young black men.
What do you mean by raising?
That didn't have a father and saw that as a father figure and something to aspire to. a man who has a family and is a doctor and does all these cool things and is a rich guy and successful guy on TV. And he was at a point where there was not people like that. He had his own thing. He was running the show, and he was providing a good message and good family values, and had a good sense of humor and was a good comedian. So yes, in real life, he was a scumbag. And that was a day and an age where scumbags didn't get revealed and bad behavior didn't get sussed out.
That didn't make it. Okay.
Right. I'm saying, okay, we could get into how society made kind of Michael Jackson a monster as well. But is the fact that he was there for those kids when they needed a positive male role model now invalidated, or now that they're older and they still have taken in the fact that he was there for them as a child when they needed it? How do you throw that away when there's a positive history between the viewer and the artist?
Let me explain how you do that. Let's go back to the church.
Doesn't mean you have to make the same mistakes twice.
And you're right, Christopher. Let's go back to the church. The Catholic Church unfortunately has a bad reputation of preachers, unfortunately, touching little boys in the wrong way. Is it wrong for that little boy now, who's adult, who's grown up, to now decide that he's going to be against the Catholic Church because of the lack of responsibility that they've taken? Let me finish. One thing is for sure is that whenever we're dealing with choice, because that's the ultimate sin is choice, by the way. You have a choice to either decide to do it or not to do it. So my argument in regards to Bill Cosby is this, because I understand what he's saying. He's right. He put a lot of people through college. Bill Cosby helped a lot of institutions, especially black historic colleges.
And he's a great comic too.
I wouldn't call him great, but he's a good comic. Not my choice of comic. I'm a Richard Pryor kind of guy, to be honest with you. I'm a George Carlin kind of guy. But the reality is that I understand all of the great things that he did for television, for black people, the Cosby Show. But I also understand that during that same time, he was putting, drugs in people's drinks, being biased from light skin to dark skin.
Right. But why are you putting the Cosby Show in prison because Bill Cosby's in prison?
I didn't put it in prison. I'm not telling people not to watch it. I'm telling people that they have a choice to watch it based on the fact of, at the end of the day, are you going to decide that you're going to patronize or you decide that you're going to support a person who did this? Now, it's terrible that all the other people have to suffer in the process. But the reality is that he was at the forefront and everything he did up until this point. Now, for those people he helped, they have to deal with that personally.
You're not supporting him. You're supporting yourself and the interaction you have with the artwork.
No.
If the artwork was
the artwork has been tainted. The artwork has been tainted by the artist.
Maybe that, all right, it's a bad example, I think, with the priest that you said, because that's making a victim out of a specific person.
There were victims involved in the Cosby thing. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the victims.
A random viewer watching on TV is not one of those victims.
And listen,
now, if the priest also told you, do not steal, and you learned that, he also taught you some things you didn't want to learn, do not steal is still a good lesson.
Something that you don't actually have to learn in church.
Right. I think we're,
listen, I think this is the reality. And this is my whole perception, because we can go down this whole road of just people in celebrity positions.
Let's go down the road.
Well,
there's gradations to this as well.
Then you got, okay, so let's go down the road.
Go down it.
Shall we? Let's look at this from a perspective of an artist in all aspects. Let's look at like a guy like Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Mike Tyson, unfortunately, was involved in a situation where he had to go to jail because of a rape.
He served his time.
Now, a woman to this day could still be on a Mike Tyson trip and say, I'm not going to watch a Mike Tyson fight, or for that matter.
She wouldn't be a boxing fan, though, either.
Well,
because she wouldn't be able to separate the performer from the performance.
Let's look at another one. Now, this is going to hurt people. I'm going to tell you.
It hurts me to say some of this stuff, honestly.
Absolutely. But this one's going to be a hard one. What about Tupac? I love Tupac. But Tupac, unfortunately, was what? He was convicted of a rape crime.
Martin Luther King cheated on his wife. I mean, at some point, there's a person that on a personal level is not for their direct people and are not good to the direct people around them, but serves a greater purpose in society as a functionally speaking to the masses.
And that's part. Listen,
that doesn't make that person a good person, nor does it need to be.
True story.
Because good people sometimes are fucking boring.
And sometimes they have serious problems But
sometimes those serious problems make for good art.
Listen, true story. In 1988, I'm exposing my age here. In 1988, I bought my very first picture for my home. I didn't even have a home.
Man, that's crazy because you were born in '90, so that's kind of crazy.
I know. Wow. How did that happen? Okay. I bought a picture. I didn't even have a home, but I had gone to a cultural event, and I bought a picture of Malcolm X. Okay, Malcolm X.
Did you throw it away if it was worth $5 million potentially?
If you all have been following the picture online, Chris had found out that the picture he threw away in the last podcast is actually probably would have made him retire, but he'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I bought this picture of Malcolm X, and I still have it to this day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has gone with me for over, almost over 30 years. It has traveled with me.
Yeah.
I got to one of my homes, and there was a conversation with the woman I was with at the time about the wall art, and I protested that if we have Malcolm, we should have a picture of Martin.
Martin Lawrence?
No, Gina. Martin Luther King Jr. And I didn't realize that this was going to be an argument. Not an argument as in a relationship argument, but an argument in regards to this conversation.
Yeah.
She believed that Martin, because of his infidelity, should not deserve a space on the wall. I said, but look at all the great work he's done. I'm not putting him on the wall because he's a husband. That's up to his family. I didn't marry him. That's up to his wife. They need to work that out. I'm putting him on the wall because of the great work he did for the black people of this country.
Same way I see it with the artist situation.
Now, the difference is that, again, I made a choice. Consequently, the picture went in the garage.
So honestly, I choose yes because it's too hard for me to research all the I'm going to take what I could get positively out of the art. And if to dwell in, let me look up every producer on that film and make sure no one ever did anything wrong. It's wasting my time to do such a thing.
No.
It's not benefiting me.
No. You don't have to do that.
Let the legal system suss out who did what wrong. I'm enjoying the art. Speaking of, George, I got to show you something. This is something different. I got to call you out on something because there's another American who now has become iconic and famous and
I don't know who this is.
And has led to, some social change in our country, but also was potentially a criminal and potentially a dirtbag. And I can't believe
George Washington.
I cannot believe that on Valentine's Day you would send me something so disturbing and so disgusting as this. You could see it says "To Chris from Battle," and you can see right there. It's a picture of George Floyd, and it says "You take my breath away." Now that is really fucked up, and I can't believe you would do that. That's terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
I've been holding that on because Valentine's Day passed, but I had to call that out because we gotta make it right. We gotta.
Ladies and gentlemen,
exorcise
boys and
some
girls,
demons from the past.
Again, if you're listening to this in podcast land, you have to jump over to the YouTube station and see this card of George Floyd. And I'm going to hold it up again because this guy, he's an animal. He's a beast, ladies and gentlemen. He's a beast, and all I can say is fuck you. That's all I can say, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to say that for everyone who is actually listening because that's what you all really want to say. No, I didn't send him a George Floyd card, just for the record. And yes, he's an asshole.
But do I really take your breath away?
No. Now, one thing is for sure is that this country has, and I repeat, has and loves its villains. I've said that on this podcast quite a bit.
Right.
When we talk about domestic issues, when it regards to men and stars, a lot of them have had these issues. I'm not going to leave out and think for a second that this is not a problem in the community, whether it be music, Hollywood, politics, sports. It is really a madman problem. It's a madman problem. When you think about like the fact that even, here's another one. Now, folks who are of a certain age can reminisce on this. Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley and Priscilla. Priscilla was 15.
A lot of those old school music guys kept girlfriends and fiancés that were real young like that. And it was just openly, no one talked about stuff like that back then. But it was illegal back then as well.
Right? 15 years old, kept her in the house until she was 18, swore out he never touched her, by the way.
Bullshit.
Swore out he never touched her. So I'm talking about men with power, men who have unfortunately decided. What was the other one? What was another one? Woody Allen married his stepdaughter.
Oh, I have a good story about that.
Woody Allen married his stepdaughter. How can? What?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Okay.
Well, me and Woody Allen were comparing whose stepdaughter was better in bed. No, just joking. When I was real little, the Woody Allen thing happened, and I really didn't understand what was happening. But I remember my mom being super angry and being like, if I see Woody Allen in the street, I'm going to spit on him. And I was like, man, I don't know who Woody Allen is, but Mom really hates Woody Allen. Hopefully we don't run into him because this is going to be awkward.
You see? This is exactly, and again, a choice. Would she go to a Woody Allen film? Would she go decide to support a Willie? No. That's my whole point to this thing. You make a choice based on the action of the artist. And it took, by the way, it took Woody Allen a lot of years to get to the point where he could even come out in public because of what he decided to do.
Okay.
Mad Men.
Here's where I would like to separate the art from the artist. So like Roman Polanski, obviously what happened, and then he escaped over to France. And they like do award ceremonies where they're giving him awards. Like, I'm completely, as I've said in this.
But hold on, but that's for the art. That's not him as a person. No, hold on. Now,
we're giving the person an award. So I was still cool with watching the art, but that's a very extreme situation.
You see?
But they're also French, so.
Yeah, and it's very little excuse for the French. And for all of my French brothers and sisters out there, that's okay. I really mean that.
No, I like French women. But the guys are kind of arrogant.
Yeah, and redheads. But okay, so redheads, redhead. Okay. Anyway, so yes. So again, separating the art from the artist. I say there's no separation. I say that it is a choice that you decide to support an artist that already has a poor reputation or art has been tainted because of the art. I say that.
You're just limiting yourself, though. That's
I'm
the
not
problem.
limiting myself.
You are limiting yourself.
I'm not. I'm creating a stance. I have something that I'm standing up for. If I don't stand up for something, I'm going to fall for anything.
There's a lot better things to stand up for than this.
Oh no! Get the fuck out of here. What I listen to, what I intake, what church I go to, what music I listen to.
It's not saying you support the behavior. It's to say don't throw out the past good stuff they made.
I'm not throwing it out. We can't literally throw it out. It's who you support. Art is going to stay forever. This legacy work, I'm sure in 100 years, people are going to be playing R. Kelly.
The thing. People are putting themselves into weird positions where now they're defending the artist of the stuff they really like. And it's like, why can't, if you separate it, you are able to, in your brain, just fully enjoy the art without having the caveat.
Then they need to be.
I don't want to twist myself into a pretzel just to say that I like Thriller.
No, I love Thriller. And I love The Cosby Show. Wait a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
This is not about the art and the appreciation for the art. It has its place in its time.
Are you saying you feel uncomfortable watching it anymore?
I do now. I do.
I don't feel uncomfortable.
I
don't feel uncomfortable.
I feel uncomfortable.
Unless Cosby was writing an episode about how he drugged a woman and that was somehow a good thing, then I wouldn't feel any weird sort of way.
He's not going to ever admit that he drugged a woman and wrote an episode about it. That is not what Cosby is going to do. It's been proven. He lied. He drugged women. He brought them back. Right, so he had sex with them. He raped them. And that's a fact.
Right. And he didn't do that on The Cosby Show.
Yeah, but he used all of his wealth and all of his position to get women in a situation where they thought they were going to receive something, whether it be a scholarship.
And at the time, there was an infrastructure of people in Hollywood that tolerated that and were open and were in some way cool with that. So for those same people to pretend now that they're not cool with that guy, yes, you fucking were. And look at us with what we did as a society to Michael Jackson. You took this person, you put him on a big stage since he was a little kid. And not since, and there was such major media exposure that not since the age of pharaohs in ancient Egypt that they had a child running as a king and everyone coming from around the world to give props and attention to this person. We don't know what the fuck that does to someone's psychology. We don't know what that does to someone's. That's not excusing what he did. That's to say that everyone was clapping and cheering, and the parents put him up on the stage. Like, come on, man! Don't we have some culpability in this? Are we never even going to look at ourselves in the mirror? You guys just learn the lessons and move on.
I think he just pulled in the man in the mirror. Is that what you did in that shit?
I'm asking him to marry.
I'm impressed.
Thanks.
You just pulled that together.
I didn't plan it like that.
I mean, did you write that?
No.
Oh, shit. I told you guys, this guy is smart, man. This guy is really. I mean,
about this,
yeah.
about like real life things. I'm an idiot.
Forget about the 3 o'clock shadow. Forget about that. You know what I'm saying? Forget about him. You know, this guy is really smart.
Well, thank you.
And if it wasn't for the COVID and the fact that you just gotten
and the fact that I throw my career away every week.
Yes.
On here.
Yeah. And the fact that he didn't just, try to French kiss your bum that's, with Ivor Spring, I would give him a hug.
And the fact that I might have thrown out $10 million worth of art.
Which brings us, man, to the fact that art is important not only to us as individuals, but as a society.
I do want to apologize to the. I want to say thank you to the people who called me out, because even though oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, man.
Ahead?
Just shit on my last statement, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's about you. Go ahead. Tell everybody how you got all of this great support online.
I just want to say I was called out for throwing out art, and the reason why is because the artwork that I threw out.
Thank you guys for your comments, by the way. Thank you guys for your. We love it. We love it. Please chime in.
It looked like a Diego Rivera original photo, and so hearing that, and then I searched, how much are those worth? Oh, one sold for $10 million. Oh, I had 2 of them actually. So my printer kind of ran out of color ink, but you could still kind of see. This was the second one.
Oh my goodness! No, I don't even know what's the story around that one.
So, same thing. I got 2 from the guy. I just didn't mention that last week.
So you got 2 of the same artist?
Right. Well, now here's the thing.
Oh my! You're an idiot. Oh my! Did you show this to the people? Okay, I'm
showing them right now.
You want this? This one is clearly a classic piece. This one is clearly.
I don't think so.
Oh, bro, this is.
I don't think so. Well, okay, it's okay.
Forget about it, bro.
Now I want to at least clarify. I want to at least defend myself somewhat.
Oh.
The art was effective because it was creepy. This is what I would wake up in bed, and this is how I would see this art. And keep in mind, if the lights are low, it was kind of scary. So I got creeped out by this. That's why I want to get rid of it. Part of it, I was creeped out by this.
Put it in the living room.
This is what I saw when I opened my eyes.
I mean, it does seem a little
it's creepy for a bedroom. And that's where I had it. Not only that,
these are going online, ladies and gentlemen, because who actually would take a picture from the spectrum of his bedroom? Only Chris, by the way. If you look at this picture, you're going to see.
That's when you're trying to test out your new camera, but are too lazy to get out of bed. That's when you take that picture. But okay, so a couple things, real quick.
Okay, go for it.
I did some research online because when someone tells you might have thrown away $10 million, you get a little curious. It looks like that guy had about 150 to 200 pictures, of which I looked through about all of them because there's websites that actually list, here's all the known work of this person. Thankfully, I don't think so. What more than likely happened is that someone was inspired by Diego Rivera and in like some sort of a college art class made these pictures. Is I believe what happened.
Okay.
With that being said, lesson learned, I should still not throw away art because that's sacrilege, especially to the conversation we just had and how much I defended art in general. So lesson learned, I won't do something like that again. But it's not like it truly got to the trash because someone obviously picked it up and sold it on the boardwalk. I've even got art out of the trash. Some art that I like. That picture over there, which we haven't seen, is from the trash.
Like what
one
picture?
with the girl doing the.
Oh yeah.
That was I found in the garbage. Some rich person's house, and I looted it. So someone, maybe some person on the boardwalk that has been living real poor for real long might have just inherited $10 million. So I can't dwell on this. Easy come, easy go.
Yeah. Well,
but I won't be so nonchalant in throwing away someone else's hard work in the future. That was wrong.
That was a great moment here online. And Chris, you're still an idiot, though. You're still an idiot. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great show.
Yeah.
We've gone through a lot. We're going to continue this because obviously, even though we care about Tiger Woods, he also had his problems. Even we started the show with Tiger Woods.
That's the other thing.
We started the show with Tiger Woods.
Well, that's the other thing with the slippery slope is that what are his problems?
Okay,
it wasn't that bad. I mean, compared to the other guys.
Right, again, we're talking about supporting. We're not talking about we're not talking about necessarily the product. The product is good. What was created was good. It's the actual artist and the fact that this artist or this sports or this athlete or this political figure or this minister or who is serving the community and the responsibility of their lifestyle and understanding that we have a choice to patronize it or we have a choice to support it. And I'm saying, like I have been saying, Tiger Woods went through a whole scandal himself. Even though, of course, this is not to shit on the fact that we want Tiger to be well, because he's a giant. We couldn't give Tiger Woods away for 14 million white people. We play this game like we'll give you, and you give us. We'll give you
the racial draft.
The racial draft. We're gonna play that game. Would you guys hit us in the comments? Would you like a racial draft? Because I'm willing to definitely give away some of my brothers and sisters for some of your brothers and sisters. Especially, I'll even take some of the Italian ones.
Ah,
because you got some good ones over there in Italy as well.
Okay.
But regardless of that, we're not shitting on him. We're just saying, hey, again, this show is about madmen. This is what this show is about. This show is about men who take advantage of a situation because of their power, strength, or influence.
Was it true? I've heard that that Leonardo da Vinci. I read something that he was kind of a perv. And
I don't know.
Don't sue me, Leonardo, if you're out there.
Not DiCaprio.
Or don't haunt me. But
18. Is your daughter 18, Leo? Oh, okay.
Do you know where your daughter is at Leonardo DiCaprio?
He's on her boat. He's on the boat with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well, okay, let's say someone like that not only were they an artist, but they were an inventor. And some of their sketchings were the early drawings for plane travel.
Okay.
Think about that every time you fly in a plane and sit on the shoulders of people who came before you, that some of those people had problems.
Now, he's going way back. That's another show, ladies and gentlemen. He's already teasing the next show. We'll talk about it. We'll keep it going because you're right. And I'm not even going to mention the slave owners. All right, ladies and gentlemen, episode 31. I slipped that in there, by the way. Episode 31, and the immortal words of my great father, don't ever let the times change the lines in your smile. We love you.
Yes. And in the immortal words of Bill Cosby, two somas ought to do it.
Peace. I'm going to cut that shit out.